Welcome to God 101. This is a very special episode because look who's here. Shanna Moakler. She has such a long resume. Most recent evicted celebrity house guest,
Yeah.
like evicted Big Brother celebrity house guest, among other titles. Let me just tell everyone who's watching right now that I'm your host, Julie Chen. We are going to talk about Big Brother, and we are going to talk about who got evicted on Monday night's double eviction episode. So when we get to Big Brother stuff, if you haven't watched the episode yet, you might want to save this interview for later. But first, God, welcome, Shayna.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited.
It has been a week since you
Mhm.
got evicted.
I know.
Talk about God. How are you feeling?
I'm actually in a really great headspace. It was really nice to get home and see my family. I actually took a little backyard getaway to San Diego and did a little decompressing. So I'm feeling really good.
Okay. Good. I want to get more into all that and the game and your thoughts. But God comes first in my life. So
Awesome.
that's why we're going to start with God. And I am curious to know because I am going to say you strike me as a woman of faith. Did you
I am.
grow up with faith in your life?
I did, yes. I was born into a Catholic family. I took my first communion and all that good stuff. And God is, as with yourself, is just a huge part of my life. I pray daily. I consider myself a very spiritual person. I think having a personal relationship with God is very, very important, and it's something I practice every day.
I love it. Now, did you find your faith was being tested in the Big Brother house, or did you find yourself calling upon God more than normal?
Well, I think if anyone saw the live feeds, they definitely saw me saying my prayers every night. I pray every night. Um, I didn't feel like my faith was being tested. I truly believe in, we have free will. However, I do believe that, everything does happen for a specific reason and different challenges are brought to us for different reasons. And I've always had faith in God's plan, whether I was the winner or not. I knew there was always something or a gift that I could take away from the house.
And does that bring you peace no matter what storms you weather, knowing that God is in control?
Absolutely. I've been through so many different challenges in my life, but, sometimes at the moment and at that time, you don't truly understand why you're experiencing what you're experiencing. However, in time, as always, and with my age now, looking back, it's like, oh, okay, God was with me. God, was directing me in the right path. And I'm happy things did play out the way they did, even though I didn't understand it at the time.
So you were raised with faith, and you are a mom of three. You have
Yes,
a daughter with Oscar de la Hoya,
correct.
and you have a son and a daughter with your ex-husband,
Travis Parker.
Travis
Yes.
Parker, drummer of Blink 182.
Yes.
You raise your kids with faith in their life.
Absolutely. All my kids have a really great relationship with God, and my son actually is the one who is the most spiritual and the most connected to the church, and really has a great love for Christ. And sometimes our ideologies may not match up, but I just love that my children have faith and they have that in their life. I think it's important.
For parents listening right now, because sometimes your kids are older now, but
Mhm.
there's at a young age, they're like, I don't want to go to church. Like,
Sure.
how did your son become the one who is deepest in his walk with Christ? Was it something you did, or is it just something that Holy Spirit took over and you really can't explain it?
I think it's a little bit of both. We definitely had some neighbors that had a prayer group, and he would go and attend that prayer group and learn scripture, and it was just something that really moved him and touched him. His father and I were divorced, and I think having that faith and having that circle and having other people his age, teens his age too, to talk to, and that really really helped guide him.
Okay. I think it's time we talk about Big Brother.
Okay.
First things first.
Yes.
You said you are kind of like reacclimating to the outside
Yes.
world.
Mm.
Are you there yet? How long did it take? Are you still trying to onboard into life outside the house or what?
I'm in a great place. Just getting to like see my family and my animals, and as much as I loved the Big Brother gods telling us to get up in the morning, it's been very refreshing not to go get my batteries from the storage room in the morning. So, but it's been very fun, and I've gotten to eat lots of yummy restaurant food, so it's been a good time.
You don't miss the Big Brother food? You don't miss cooking for yourself? And
I mean, Miss Cynthia can cook, and Todd Bridges. I'm very impressed with their skills, but Nobu is pretty amazing. So,
now, I love the fact that you have been a diehard Big Brother fan
yes,
for a long time, if not since the beginning. I'm not sure.
yes.
But how did the experience feel as a fan going in? Was it anything close to what you thought it was going to be? Was it harder? Talk to me about the experience as a super fan.
Sure. The experience was a lot harder than I thought. I think when sort of like your vices of television and radio and even, pencil and paper are taken away, you really are in your head a lot more, and you're thinking things, the paranoia can get real in the Big Brother house. However, being a super fan and just walking in was just so incredible. I never thought I would get the opportunity to play that game, So, and being able to see sort of all the Big Brother, the little crazy squirrel, and going into the storage room, and just and being in the bathroom. I know this sounds so crazy, but that one camera, you see it on TV all the time, and you're like, wow, I'm in here right now. I'm really playing this game, and just the Big Brother games, the classic the veto that I won, building the snowflakes, and just being on the wall, the famous wall.
Wall.
Yes, that
Like
was so
all the Game of
cool.
Thrones. Now, I think we do have to explain that that little camera in the bathroom is because we're not a bunch of weirdos.
No.
We have to make sure there's not one corner, one end of
Yes,
the house where a secret conversation can happen
correct.
we don't know about. So,
Exactly.
um,
Yes.
all right. Go ahead. You were going to say
Oh, I
something.
was just going to say there is a microphone above that bathroom. So
Yes,
I thought the fans would think that's funny.
there is. We hear and see everything. That's why we are Big
Yeah.
Brother.
Yes.
Um, now, I did see your final days seemed so frustrating to you because, and I
Yes.
felt for you.
Thank you.
I felt for you. And I heard you say at one point, you know what? I'm done with you guys. I never want to see any of you ever again.
Mm,
That felt like in the heat of the moment, how
sure.
you felt.
Yes.
Still feel that way about everyone?
At the moment, Carson Kressley and I have spoken, and we've had a nice exchange, and I know he has such a good heart and he's such a great person. At the moment, I think I need to see where some other relationships might pan out after the game. However, I did make some incredible friendships. Chris Kirkpatrick and Teddy. I thought I think I'm going to have them in my life for a very long time, and their families. They're just wonderful people, and I'm so thankful to have their friendships.
So it sounds like the people that you are unsure of right now, correct me if I'm wrong,
Yes.
the top of the list, Todrick,
Sure. Yes.
and is Misha on that list?
Yeah, I think, when it comes to the Big Brother, I understand that it's a game, and that there is going to be backstabbing or lying or alliances, and that can happen in this game. I just think that there were some personal attacks that were made towards me that I saw after I left the house that I thought didn't need to be said and were a little hurtful. But, I'm very open to hearing why maybe those things or those comments were made. I don't carry hate in my heart. I'm a very forgiving person. So anything can happen, and I'm definitely open to having some conversations,
That's
um,
your faith. That's your
yeah,
faith speaking.
absolutely.
So how did you and Carson get square? Because I did see some exchange, very friendly exchange on Twitter.
Yes.
But
Yes.
beyond that, what can you let us in on?
Sure. He DM'd me a very heartfelt and sincere apology, which, spoke volumes to me. I have worked with Carson in the past on television shows we've hosted together, and I know his character. He's also part of the Miss USA family that I'm a part of as well. And, just reaching out and showing compassion and kindness is, is a big deal to me. So we had an exchange through some DMs, and then he made a lovely post on Instagram, and I reposted as well. I wanted the public to see that. I don't want anyone walking out having to deal with hate.
How do you feel about Cynthia?
I mean, I Cynthia is just Cynthia, I mean, it's not surprising to me that Cynthia is where she's at, because she doesn't come across as a threat in the house. She's very nurturing and loving and mothering, and I think some people need that energy in there a lot. So I think she's just kind of floating along and doing her thing. I think she's as surprised as everyone else that she's still there.
You did say that. I would have to agree with that assessment.
Yeah.
I've heard, well, you watched the live show tonight. So
Yes.
both people, well,
Mhm.
if you're watching this point, we're going to say who got voted out. So
Yes.
stop.
Yeah.
You don't want to know. I'll try and keep it as vague as I can for as long as I can.
Sure.
But people have said that this whole experience has changed them. It's been transformative.
Yeah.
You have lived your life in front of cameras before. You had your own reality show,
Yes.
Meet the
Yes.
Barkers. Was Big Brother at all life changing for you, or did it test your? Did it? I feel like it always tests people's personal
Oh,
boundaries.
absolutely. It definitely tests you in a way, and it challenges. There were things that I wanted to do. I'm someone that's very vocal, obviously, sometimes when I shouldn't be. So, and I know that. And it really, it tested me in patience, learning patience with other people, learning about other people, why they live their lives the way they lived, listening, not talking so much, letting other people shine when it was their moment to shine, not trying to get all the attention, which is something that I do naturally, not always in the best way, but it's just something I think from being an entertainer and an actress. However, it definitely did test me personally, but it's an experience that I'm so thankful I had, because it helped me grow. It helped me, learn about others in such an interesting environment, and, when you're in that house and you're with that group of people, there is a bond. There is sort of like this, this, you become comfortable with these strangers because you are all going through this very unique experience. And so, that was, I think, a beautiful gift as well.
Did you ever find yourself in a point where you thought, I cannot take this and
Yes.
I don't want to play anymore?
Yeah,
What
towards
took
the
you
end
to
there.
that?
Say again?
Yeah.
Yeah, towards
Oh,
the
you just
end
answered
there.
towards the end.
Yeah, I just felt like I was like in 8th grade and I was being bullied on the playground, and I just didn't understand because, like I said, there's gameplay and I understand that. And then I think there's just where you're being mean, and at one point I was like, there's no reason why grown adults can't just come to me and have a conversation with me and not ostracize me in a way that was just, I felt just not necessary. So at that point, all I could do is just kind of go in internally and, yes, call upon my faith for sure, and just trust in God's plan. And, and just know that at the end of the day, I knew who I was. I knew how I played the game. I knew what my intentions were, and they were good and pure. And if that's all I had at the end of the day, then that's all I had. And I trusted in that.
In your own words, what cost you this game?
Um, Gosh, that's a tough question. I guess, I wasn't able to communicate the way I think that I needed to communicate to Carson and Cynthia to have them truly understand. I didn't want to give Misha and Todrick the power of seeing them divide us. And I think if I had, confronted all 4 of them without screaming in the middle of the kitchen and actually, been able to have that confrontation calmly, I might have been able to stay in the game. But I didn't want to give them that power, and I retreated.
Do you think it was because your ego then got in the way?
I think it was, I didn't want to, I didn't want to scream. I didn't want to be seen as drama, and I honestly was like, okay, well then if this is what you believe and you truly believe that I'm that person, then you will suffer the consequences, and that's exactly what happened tonight.
Can I tell you what, from my point of view, as a viewer, forget about that I host it, as a fan of the show, I think when Carson and Cynthia heard you, you were like fessing up to, yeah, you do what you have to in this game.
Yeah.
You get service here. It was when you said, it's not like we had a name. When you said
Yeah.
it's not like we had a name for our little, you
Yes.
know,
Yes.
I think they heard in that something much more diabolical than
Yeah.
their
But
actual.
and I can understand that, but at the same time, I was playing with two people who didn't understand the game, didn't understand what they were doing or why I was doing what I was doing. If I wasn't talking to those people and finding out all that information, they still wouldn't even know what was going on. They would still be thinking Todrick was part of their alliance. They didn't even want to believe that Todrick was working with Misha from the very beginning. So I was constantly having to convince them. I was constantly having to explain to them, not just explain what was going on in the house, but even just basic game rules that we were playing. So it just was like, I just felt like I was talking to a wall and their mind was made up and there's nothing I could do.
If you could do it all over again, would you just go in there and be like, I don't know, and play like you didn't know the rules, or would you
I
do it
think I
all?
definitely would have laid a little bit lower for sure. I maybe would have followed the little Todd Bridges gameplay, just sleeping on the couch, listening to everybody. But I definitely didn't want to go in there. I wanted to play. I wanted to make power moves. I wanted to win competitions. I didn't want to be a threat, but I definitely wanted to, play Big Brother.
I think you have a whole new set of fans to join your existing set of fans from your many years in this business as a
Yes.
result of this. I hope you feel that.
Oh my gosh, the support and the comments on social media and the things that people have been sending me are just, my mind is just overwhelmed. It's so heartfelt and wonderful, and I'm so appreciative. And that's a scary thing when you go into the Big Brother house. How will the world perceive me? How will I be seen? And I wanted to go on Big Brother because I wanted to show the world that I wasn't the tabloid mess or the pop culture that they read on in the news every day. I wanted to show them my fun personality, and I wanted to show them my love of this game, and I did that. So with that, I'm truly, truly thankful.
What'd your family say about how you did?
They're very proud. Rhode Island's proud, my family's proud, and that's the best gift I could receive from it. So and again, the outpour of support has just been, the Big Brother community I know is extensive and massive and fanatical, and I love that. And to have support of that community that has been following this show for 2 decades is just like, is this happening? This is really cool. It's really fun.
This is your chance to promote whatever you want to promote, anything that you're a part of, or anything that you want to see manifest itself as a
Sure.
result of your experience in the house. So you
Sure.
have the floor, Shanna Moakler.
Oh. Well, I just wanted to say thank you to all the fans out there who have been sending me messages of support. They're so appreciated, and I feel so touched and loved, and it's incredible. I would love for you all to follow me at Shanna Moakler. I'm on Twitter and Instagram. I'm also the executive director for the Miss Nevada USA and Miss Utah USA pageants. It's something I've been doing for over a decade, and it's truly a program that empowers young women and changes their lives, and they get out into the community and they get to work with their politicians and whatever platform touches their soul. And so if you would like to join that organization, please, you can go to missnevadausa.com or missutahUSA.com, and you can sign up and join us, volunteer as well. And otherwise, I'm hoping to get back out into scripted projects or possibly hosting. You're my idol, Julie. So I definitely would love to follow in your footsteps. So I'm here, Hollywood.
Well, I'm going to say prayers for you, because I really think you showed a side to the world of Shanna Moakler and you are someone to don't count her out,
Thank you.
count her in. And I just want to say a big heartfelt thank you, and to keep
you.
shining bright.
Thank you so much. It's such a pleasure and an honor to be able to speak with you. That means a lot. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for joining us for this episode of God 101. You heard it here. Shanna is a woman of faith. And God bless. We'll see you soon.